Welcome everyone to Where is Your Stop? It is December 3rd, 2014. And in the last talking perspective, we not only did we talk about China and Japan, but we also talked about oil. Oil got mentioned. It's kind of been a hot button lately for anybody in the markets right now. And for those that have seen gas prices go down significantly and pay attention to that kind of thing. Well, oil for us has been very much a sideways game from the long term. We'll show that here in a second. But at the very tail end of July, literally the last day, we finally got price confirmation on the downside, coinciding with volatility and volume. And so we ended up getting short then. And you can see here that our initial stop was definitely outside of the noise, outside of any type of price resistance that's in there. And so we didn't really worry about any type of hunting. And then oil just really kind of started to dramatically move down. Now it was very uniform though, so the volatility has been increasing, but at a very uniform pace to coincide with price going down, definitely drastically on a percentage wise, but volatility wise, it's been almost a smooth ascent. And so what we see is that we've moved our stops quickly in terms of time, but the distance has definitely stayed very wide to stay outside of that noise. And now we're using the USO as a representation of oil, and we can see here that obviously we can have a pop back up into the 28 range, although the futures market has that covered, so we may or may not. But you can see that where our current stop is right now, we're very much outside of all this drastic last move down. We don't really worry about being hunted right now. And so why that is important is because if oil decides to go sideways and calm down here a little bit, what will happen is that then as the volatility decreases, not as a function of time, our stops are going to move up very drastically and start to catch up. And so, we will begin to lock in those profits even more and have a very nice winner in terms of the units of risk. So with that being said, looking at where oil is from the long term, we can see here that essentially we're touching those 2009 closing lows on the USO. In the futures market, we actually touched the lows themselves. Oil has been very much a sideways whipsaw trade for anybody who's been following long-term trends. And so this has really been kind of the first move that has begun to make up for a few of the small losers that have been whipsawed back and forth here after two very large winners in 2008 at the beginning and end actually with a long and a short. So where we go from here, nobody knows. Obviously the U.S. equity market isn't painting the same picture that the global commodity market is. So if U.S. equities pick up, you could see continued lower prices on commodities, including oil. But at the same token, this is where the world was essentially ending, and somebody found value here for oil, even whenever they thought every country was blowing up, essentially. And so you might begin to see some bottom pickers come up here. That's why worrying about where price is and looking at how the volatility is affecting it is important, and why we will be moving up our stops very quickly once things calm down. But until that actually occurs, we're going to give it the room to run, because this thing could continue to run. So to staying outside the noise, guys, to definitely to beating random. We love hearing your questions. We love the questions coming in about oil. So if you have any, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll definitely pick them up next week. And we look forward to talking to you next week.